Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class by ISKCON Portland Temple. Today we'll be talking about Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 10, verse number 14. But before we get started, I would like to chant the Mangalacharan prayers to invoke the mercy of the previous acharyas. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। ताप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। I'll also chant the invocation prayers for Srimad Bhagavatam as we are about to start reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay, I'll share my screen to show the verse for today. Okay. So I'm going to recite it 3 times and then request devotees to chant if they wish. Okay. Nyarundhan udgalat bashpam outkanthya devaki sute niryati agarano bhadran iti syad bandhava striyaha. Nyarundhan udgalat bashpam outkanthya devaki sute niryati agarano bhadran iti syad bandhava striyaha. Nyarundhan udgalat bashpam outkanthya devaki sute niryati agarano abhadran iti syad bandhava striyaha. Would devotees like to chant?
Shumataji, Narundhan Udgalat Bashpam Akantha Devaki Sute Niryatyagarano Bhadram Iti Syad Bandhavastriyaha. Thank you, Mataji. Krishna.
Any other devotees would like to chant?
Yes, I would like to chant.
Yep.
Nyarudhan Udgalad Bashpam Utkanthya Devaki Sute Niryati Agarano Bhadran Iti Syad Bandhava Striyaha. Hare Krishna.
Abel. Harshita, would you like to chant?
Ramadiji. Narandan Utgalat Bashpam Autkantaya Devaki Sute Niryati Agaran no Abhadram Iti Syad Bandhava Striyaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll go to the synonyms section. Nyarundhan, checking with great difficulty. Udgalat, overflowing. Bashpam, tears. Outkantyat, because of great anxiety. Devaki Sute, unto the son of Devaki. Niryati, having come out. Agarat, from the palace. Na, not. Abhadram, inauspiciousness. Iti, thus. Syat, may happen. Bandhava, relative. Striya, ladies. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The female relatives, whose eyes were flooded with tears out of anxiety for Krishna, came out of the palace. They could stop their tears only with great difficulty. They feared that tears would cause misfortune at the time of departure. Purport. There were hundreds of ladies in the palace of Hastinapur. All of them were affectionate to Krishna. All of them were relatives also. When they saw that Krishna was going away from the palace for his native place, they were very anxious for him. And as usual, tears began to roll down their cheeks. They thought at the same time that tears at that moment might be a cause of misfortune for Krishna, therefore, they wanted to check them. This was very difficult for them because the tears could not be checked. Therefore, they smeared their tears in their ears, in their eyes, and their hearts throbbed. Therefore, ladies who were the wives and daughters in law of those who died in the battlefield never came in direct contact with Krishna. But all of them heard of him and his great activities, and thus they thought of him, talked of him, his name, fame, etc., and became affectionate also, like those who were in direct contact. Therefore, directly or indirectly, anyone who thinks of Krishna, talks of Krishna, or worships Krishna becomes attached to him. Because Krishna is absolute, there is no difference between his name, form, quality, etc. Our intimate relation with Krishna can be confidentially revived by our talking of, hearing of, or remembering him. It is so done due to spiritual potency. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, some very couple of very beautiful points are there in this verse, in the purport especially. So the scene is that Lord Krishna is now about to depart for his native place, Dwarka. He has been living in Hastinapur during the war time, and then after the war was ended, Bhishma Pitamaha passed away, and Yudhishthir was very sad because of the war. So all those things had happened, but now the time had come that Lord Krishna is about to depart, and the ladies of the palace are are having a very hard time doing this farewell, doing the see off for Lord Krishna, because they are very attached to him. And the tears are flowing out of their eyes, and they are trying really hard to stop their tears because they think that the tears would cause misfortune for Lord Krishna. Although Lord Krishna is the supreme absolute and no misfortune can ever come upon him, but those ladies, in their mood of service, they don't want to cause anything harmful for Krishna. Uh, and this is really these ladies are exemplifying how pure devotional service should be. They are they are just thinking about Krishna, they are conversing about Krishna, and they want to do anything and everything which is favorable for Krishna. So that is how the devotees should be. The devotional service teaches us that we do everything which is for Krishna, which is in favor of Krishna, uh, which we think that Krishna would like. It's not just something, so like as devotees, when we do various kind of services, uh, one way of doing that could be that, I like to do this service. But really, if our overall mood is that, how can I serve Krishna best by doing whatever XYZ? So that mode of service is the best, where we are doing everything which is which with the mindset that how what could be the best way I can serve Krishna. So keeping Krishna's interests at higher level than our own interests. So these ladies, although they are full of emotion, and people in the female bodies, the women, in general, as Srila Prabhupada has mentioned also, as usual, they were crying. So the women, like I'm also I also exhibit this, that tears are really easy for me. I mean, they just happen. It's not that we artificially try to cry, but uh, women are in general more soft-hearted, and they start crying, and the tears come out of their eyes just more naturally. Um, but so these devotees, the female relatives, the ladies of the Hastinapur palace, they were having this natural emotion that their loved one, Lord Krishna, is about to depart, and the tears are just naturally coming in their eyes, but they are forcing to stop those tears as a service, because they don't want to cause anything inauspicious for Lord Krishna. Um, so we should also be thinking that how can we please Krishna, and not just how to please ourselves in each and every action that we do. So something about these ladies of Hastinapur who we are talking about. Uh, they were, as it's mentioned here, all of them were relatives also. So they had such a high position that they appeared on this planet to take part in Lord Krishna's pastimes as his relative. So they were very exalted devotees to be able to get that position, where they enacted a part where they were somehow or other, maybe like some ladies were having lot of direct contact with Lord Krishna, like Kunti Maharani, Draupadi, uh, but there were many who had not even seen Krishna. It's as it's mentioned in the purport later, that they had never seen Krishna. Where is it written? Yeah, they never came in direct contact with Krishna, but all of them had heard of him and his great activities, and that's how uh, they got that affection for Krishna. So these ladies had done a lot of pious activities. They were great devotees to get that position that they are taking part in Lord Krishna's pastimes. But one thing which gives me a ray of hope here is that those ladies had never come in direct contact with Krishna. They had never seen Krishna face to face, like Arjun had seen, like Draupadi had seen, like so many other devotees had seen, because there used to be a separation between the two genders. So ladies were not, there was no free intermingling between men and women. So these ladies never got a chance to mingle with Lord Krishna, unlike men could do that. But these ladies, just by hearing about Krishna, by talking about Krishna, they generated so much of affection for Lord Krishna, so much of they rekindled their they just had so much of affection, and they had this relationship with Krishna of love. So from that example, we can think about ourselves that it's not necessary that only when I see Krishna face to face, only then I can have a relationship with him. Just by reading about Krishna, by hearing about Krishna from authorized sources, it's possible that we can have that kind of love generated within ourselves for Lord Krishna. Like so many people who had no idea about what this word Krishna means, people in the West, when they read Srila Prabhupada's books, when they came in contact with a pure devotee, either directly with Srila Prabhupada's contact or through his books, when they came to know about Lord Krishna, so, when they heard about his name, about his fame, about his activities, that relationship got revived, and they, so many devotees have generated a lot of love for Krishna. So that is a devotional service. That is, how we should be uh, as devotees, and we are very, very, very fortunate. So these ladies was very fortunate that they were taking part in Lord Krishna's pastimes, but we should really thank Lord Krishna for our good fortune that he has sent uh, his pure devotees in our lives, because of which we are able to understand about our lost relationship with him, and he's giving us these instructions as to how we can, reconnect with him in this loving relationship. So so we don't need to see Krishna face to face. We don't need to directly come in contact with him, like Lord Krishna is standing in front of him. I may not be that fortunate, but just by reading about him, just by talking about him with devotees, worshiping his deity form, it's possible to have a great loving attraction towards Lord Krishna, uh, which is the perfection of human life. I mean, that's why we have got this human life, so that we can uh, reestablish our relationship with Lord Krishna. So there is this verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, uh, a very famous verse about how we are so fortunate to receive that seed of bhakti from a pure devotee. Brahmande Brahmite Kauna Bhagyavana Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai, Bhakti Lata Bij. So through this Harinam, through this Sankirtan movement, through this Hare Krishna movement, started by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then propagated further down by his great disciples, uh, we people, so very fallen people like myself, have also received this seed of devotional service, this Bhakti Lata Bij, through the mercy of some pure devotee. And that's how we have got this access. Now it's up to us whether we want to make use of that or we want to throw it away. But that tool has been given to us, that just by uh, talking about Krishna, just by thinking about him, meditating on him, taking his name, chanting his name, things which are in our control, we can go back to him. We can uh, have that attraction for Krishna, like how his pure devotees had for him. An example being these ladies of Hastinapur. So, although we are not that fortunate to have to be directly present and be a relative of Lord Krishna or anything like that, even in this very, very fallen position, also we have this access to a great tool that we can connect ourselves back to Krishna. The foremost being the chanting of the holy name. Lord Krishna is so merciful that he is accessible to everyone through his holy name. Just by chanting the name of Krishna, we can connect back to Krishna. Isn't that like, this is amazing possibility? It sounds very theoretical, but really the name of Lord Krishna is same as Lord Krishna. It has the same potency. So Lord is so merciful. He created this, this is how he has created everything, that people who are chanting his name with pure love, Krishna is said that he's dancing on their tongues when pure devotees are chanting his name. So Krishna is like present right then and there, and you can feel his presence if you are chanting with purity, with full attention and with full love. Krishna can be accessed just through his holy name. So that is the beauty. That is the ultimate mercy of Lord Krishna, that just by chanting his holy name, by talking about his form, about his qualities, we can connect we can connect to him in the best possible way. So that was one point which came out, which really stood out to me from this purport, where in the last section, that uh, anyone, directly or indirectly, anyone who thinks of Krishna, talks of Krishna, or worships Krishna becomes attached to him, because Krishna is absolute. There is no difference between his name, form, quality, etc. And we can revive our relationship by just talking of him, hearing of him, remembering him, uh, and that's because of the spiritual potency. So these temples that Srila Prabhupada has created for us, these are places where we can connect with devotees, and we can, Tushyanticha, Ramanticha, we can actually uh, converse with each other about Lord Krishna. We can chant his names together in Aarti, in Kirtan, listen to the classes by devotees where we are constantly talking about either instructions of Krishna or some pastimes of Krishna. So those are the ways where we can you know, in a group, do this devotional activities and inspire each other. And also, you can just do it at your own home, wherever you are. In fact, wherever you are in this world, not even in your home, in any dark corner of the world, you have access. You really don't need all the infrastructure to be able to be Krishna conscious at any time. You just close your eyes, or don't even close your eyes. Basically, just chant the name of Krishna, and Krishna is right there. Your best friend, your ever, the person who will be with you in all lifetimes. That person, Lord Krishna, is with you as soon as you chant his name. Wherever you are, in whatever position you are, even if you're about to drown and you take his name, or you're in a dark cave, nobody is there, but you take his name, and Lord Krishna is right then and there, present in front of you. So that's the amazing benediction. That's the amazing potency of Lord Krishna's name, that he is fully present in his holy name, and we have access to that. So we just need to be very, very grateful that a devotee came in our life and gave us that Bhakti Lata Beej, and that we are able to access our relationship with Lord Krishna through by such a easy means of chanting about, talking about him, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, very, very easy things to do. But they have the full spiritual potency. So that was one part which really stood out for me, which is applicable to everyone. Uh, how merciful Lord is, that he allows us to access him. And the other part which yeah, we have time, yeah, a lot of time. So the other part which stood out for me, was about the tears. How these ladies were crying, and they were trying to check their tears, thinking that those are inauspicious at the time of departure. But really, the thing about tears, especially in this movement started by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By the way, Gaur Purnima is coming up in few days, the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya. Um, and Lord Chaitanya's instructions, and his whole way of living, all the pastimes that we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, tears are a very integral part of the whole, all his pastimes. Uh, so tears many times are kind of, it's said that ladies cry a lot, and tears are kind of associated with the female gender. But really, if you read the pastimes and you see the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all the writings of the Goswamis who under him, in that parampara, we see tears have a very big place everywhere. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself would exhibit these symptoms of ecstasy uh, at so many times while in Rath Yatra. In fact, all the time he was always crying, and these tears were he was crying because of the separation that he was feeling from Lord Krishna. And in fact, that's our philosophy that he has given to us, that we should not be thinking about we shouldn't be thinking like sahajiyas, where we are having interactions with Krishna, how they think in a very cheap way, but always think that we are separated from Krishna, and feel that pain of separation, that viraha, where we feel that I wish I was with Krishna, and Krishna, where are you? They are like searching for Krishna at all places. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited that. He showed by example how uh, how he was feeling that pain, and and that's how he was crying. In fact, his tears were like torrents of rain. Um, it In some places it said that it was as if from a syringe you have a syringe full of water and you're pushing that water out. So his from his eyes the tears would just come out as if somebody is pushing the syringe, and the water is just coming out of his eyes. So when he would go into those ecstatic moments, tears would just flow from his eyes. So tears are not really just attached to the gender. In fact, it said that when your heart is very soft, that's when these tears come. So it does not depend whether you're in a man body or a woman body. In fact, it's a quality of a devotee, because devotee is very soft hearted. Devotees' hearts are very soft, and uh, so the tears are a result of that, not because of whether you're a man or a woman. Um, Yeah, so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed that by example during Rath Yatras, during many of his interactions with devotees, that the tears would be coming out of his eyes. Um, in uh, in fact, not in fact. So one example was that when he was even when he was a grahastha, while he would be doing his daily puja activities, he would be just crying and crying so much that all his clothes would become wet, and he could not perform the puja because of that. So he would be crying so much. And even when he took sannyas and he was living in Jagannath Puri in Gambhira, he would be just crying out of this intense feeling of separation from Lord Krishna. And the same mood was imbibed in his disciples naturally. So in the writings of Goswamis and their disciples, there are beautiful bhajans written by acharyas in our parampara, and those are all full of this mood of separation. So like couple of them which I wanted to quote and maybe sing a little bit. One is about this Shad Goswami Ashtakam, which is written by Srinivas Acharya. Uh, and I'll just go to the last verse of this one, where maybe I can read the translation first, and then I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who were chanting very loudly everywhere in Vrindavan, shouting, Queen of Vrindavan, Radharani, O Lalita, O son of Nanda Maharaj, where are you all now? Are you just on the hill of Govardhan, or are you under the trees on the bank of the Yamuna? Where are you? These were their moods in executing Krishna consciousness. So they were feeling that separation, and they were trying to see where all these, where Lord Krishna is, where Radharani is, where Lalita Sakhi is. And, they are like searching for them and feeling that pain of separation. So maybe I'll chant a little bit. हे राधे व्रज देवी के चललिते हे नंद सुनो कुता श्री गोवर्धन कल्प पद पादपतले कालिंदी वने कुता घोषान्तविति सर्वतो व्रजपुरे खेदेर्महाविवलो वन्दे रूपसनातनो रघुयुगो श्रीजीवगोपालको. So one very beautiful song. I just love this one. And then even this one, I didn't pull it up, but Jayanilo Premadhana, which is a song written by Sri Narottam Das Thakur, where he is searching for the associates of Lord of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's looking for um, all the great devotees, and he's feeling that he wants to enter into the fire and break his head just because he's feeling that intense pain of separation from them. And tears are obviously, are again playing a role there. These devotees were crying, tears were just flowing from their eyes because of the pain of separation. So in that last line of that one, of that bhajan also says, that Narottam Das Thakur is weeping in this pain of separation. There are many, many, many such songs by our acharyas because that's the mode Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught them to imbibe that, don't not think about Sambhog, which is union with Lord Krishna, but think about Viraha, the separation from Lord Krishna, and be in that mood. And Shikshashtakam, which is the 8 verses left by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there are 8 verses, and 2 out of those, so 25%, 2 out of 8, which is 1/4, 25% of those are containing something about tears, about crying for Lord Krishna. So number 6 and number 7 in the Shikshashtakam, I'll just chant those. Nayanam galadashrudharaya vadanam gadgad ruddhaya gira pulakernicitam vapu kada tava nama grahane bhavishyati युगायितं निमिषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायितं शून्यायितं जगत् सर्वं गोविन्द विरहेण मे. So the number 6 translation is, O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and uh, when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. So we again see that here, the in the Shikshashtakam, the verses left by Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Lord Krishna, he is talking about this feeling where in the mode of separation, tears are flowing from the eyes of the devotees. So these ladies of Hastinapur, when they were exhibiting these symptoms that they were crying, it was not just because they were in the female body, but because they are great devotees. Their hearts are very soft, and they have this natural affection for Lord Krishna, and they're about to see that Lord Krishna is about to leave them and go back to Dwarka. So for them, it was they knew that Krishna was here, like within few meters of them, and now he's gonna be several thousand kilometers away from them. So that physical distance they could envisage. But for us, we have never been that fortunate to, at least I have never been that fortunate that Lord Krishna is in front of me and now he's about to go. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught us that constantly we should feel that we are in this material world and we are away from Lord Krishna, and feel that mood of separation and really cry out for him. Cry out for him like you are a child lost in a fair who's away from his parents, and just going around that fair looking for his parents in that mood of separation, in that helpless mood. You're just trying to look for Krishna. So that's the mood. And when you feel that kind of feelings, it's very natural that you'll have tears in your eyes. So tears are not sign of weakness. They are in fact sign that the devotee's heart is so soft and he or she is feeling a lot of separation from Lord Krishna. So I'll just have a look at my notes if there was anything else. Oh yeah, yes. I was listening to one lecture by a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, His Grace Pushkar Prabhu, and he was mentioning that once he uh, he saw Srila Prabhupada also exhibit these symptoms where Srila Prabhupada was singing Jai Radha Madhava. Um, I think he mentioned ISKCON Chicago or some temple. when Srila Prabhupada was present here, and these young boys and girls were around him, and Srila Prabhupada went into ecstasy. He, while chanting, he felt he just went into another world, and tears were flowing from his eyes, just like totally unstoppable tears out of his eyes, and the color of his body changed from light to dark and back to light, and his voice was all choked up. So these are the signs, these are the symptoms of ecstasy, which a pure devotee feels when they get into this. Uh, yeah, it doesn't happen all the time for all the devotees, but they don't, at least they don't exhibit it all the time. But Srila Prabhupada, Pushkar Prabhu was saying, he was exhibiting those symptoms, and some of his disciples were fortunate to witness that. So tears flowing out of the eyes of a pure devotee show how soft that devotee's heart is, and how much he's feeling that intense connection with Krishna at that time. Mm, So shedding tears for Krishna is a perfection of love for Krishna. It's not a sign of weakness, but it's a perfection of love. Mm, I'm just looking at my notes if I have anything else. Yeah, and again, some I had written a little bit more on, how uh, about being soft-hearted, and the relation between tears and being a soft-hearted devotee. Uh, I didn't write down the reference, but in one of the lectures I heard, it says, I don't know where exactly in the scriptures, but even after chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, um, if one doesn't cry, then his heart is made of steel or iron. Uh, I just wrote some snippets, but I don't know exactly where it is from. But the point is that if you're not, you just catch yourself. It's not about making a show or exhibition of your symptoms, but just feel that, are you really feeling when you're chanting the holy name? Is something happening within you? Are you feeling that kind of, that, are you really feeling how separate you are from Krishna, and is that paining you? And these are just like some things. For me, it's like miles ahead. I don't know when in this lifetime or in future lifetimes whether I'll get that kind of mood, but that's how devotees, pure devotees, feel, because their hearts are very soft, and these tears come to them naturally. This is just something, we can think about how great devotees are, and then try to follow in their footsteps, that maybe someday, at least for me, maybe someday in some lifetime, future lifetime, I might be able to get a glimpse of how they are feeling. Uh, and it also mentioned that if we do commit a lot of aparads, lot of offenses, then our heart becomes harder and harder. So devotees should try to uh, save themselves, try to not commit offenses towards other devotees, towards, there's a list of multiple offenses. So try to avoid offenses, because those make your heart, for so many reasons, but one of the side effects is that your heart becomes hard, and you're not able to meditate on Krishna in that kind of mode of separation. And yeah, one more thing is that Lord Krishna is so merciful that he has made the name so accessible to us. Everybody can chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and directly connect to Lord Krishna through his name. And his name is not different from Krishna, but the name is more merciful than Lord Krishna himself. It's easy to worship Lord Krishna's name than to worship him directly. So that's just the ultimate mercy of Lord Krishna, that we can access him at any time uh, by just chanting his name, and his name can give us is so merciful. It can fulfill all our spiritual desires. Where our real spiritual desire should be that I want to connect back with the Supreme Lord. and the holy name allows us to do that. There was one more reference in one of the lectures that I heard on this chapter, on this verse by a devotee, where he mentioned that in Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma is talking about who is eligible to go back to Vaikuntha, and this tears is mentioned as one of the prerequisites. So tears have a lot of importance in devotional life. I mean, they are just, it's not about, you artificially start crying. These things just happen so naturally when you are in a great, when you're a pure devotee, and these symptoms just naturally manifest themselves. And yeah, that was just mentioned in one of the places that tears are required. I said, wow. Um, so how can we access Lord Krishna as it was mentioned here, just by talking about him, thinking about him, about his form and quality. And it's not just that we only when we are doing that action, but if we are listening to others doing that, how Kunti Maharani had mentioned in her prayers, Shinvanti Gayanti, that particular one, that even if we are listening to others who are chanting, we are getting benefited. So, devotees not only just chant themselves, but they also listen to others. So, if you're attending a Srimad Bhagavatam class by a pure devotee, or reading Srimad Bhagavatam, or taking part in a congregational chanting of holy name, one devotee is leading and then you are repeating back. So all those things where you are doing it along with other devotees, those also give you the same benefit. So uh, the Krishna consciousness, this movement started by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and propagated so vigorously by the disciples in that chain. They are trying to distribute this holy name to anyone at all places, because holy name is so powerful and Lord Krishna is present fully in that form, that if you listen to say if you're doing Harinam Sankirtan and somebody just passes by and happens to listen to you, even that person gets a spiritual benefit. So because they just heard someone else chant the names of Krishna, even though they never probably didn't even know who Krishna is, but just by listening to the name of Krishna, they got benefited. In fact, when we go for Harinam Sankirtan, think about all the human beings. Great, I mean, if some human being is passing by and listens to the holy name, but even the insects, the blades of grass, the trees, uh, all living entities who are listening to you chanting are getting benefited. Uh, so that's the power. I mean, you're not only benefiting yourself by chanting out loud, but anyone and everyone, every living entity who listens to that name, because the holy name is absolute. It has the full potency. Whenever it reaches the ear of a living entity, uh, it benefits that living entity. Um, So that's all from my side. I mean, I can go on talking more about chanting here, but as far as this verse is concerned, this is, maybe I can stop here and see if somebody has any comments or anything to add. It's a great topic. A lot can be said. So, yeah, would any devotees want to ask any questions, give any comments, share their realizations about this? Please go ahead.
Hey, Shri Mataji, Dhanup Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you so much for the wonderful, beautiful class, Mataji. What I mentioned about, even though the ladies of Hastinapur, they were not able to see Krishna, they were able to develop that attachment, attraction to Krishna. I just remembered the first example which comes to your mind about just getting attached to Krishna just by hearing was Mother Rukmini. That first time, the Brahmanas, she sends a Brahmana to ask Krishna to please come. She writes a love letter to Krishna, and she mentions that just by hearing her qualities, I've never seen you. Just by hearing her qualities, Bhuvana Sundara, you are the most beautiful of all, in the all three worlds. So just like a love letter. Just by hearing your glories, about your form, about your qualities, about your activities, this attracted me, even though I was not able to see you. So I just remember that, Madhi, that even so. This is also another reference now for me to understand that Mother's Mother Rukmini, but ladies of Hastinapur also, they were able to develop that attraction or attachment to Krishna. And this, so even though there was, as you mentioned, there was no mingling of mixing of men and women, but even though men got predominantly to be associated with Krishna, but even there's one personality which comes into your mind, even though he was in a male body, he couldn't get, or he did not get the fortune, so to say, of being associated with Krishna, and that was Vidura. So he considered himself very lowly because of a Shudra, born of a maid servant. He did not even feel comfortable, did not feel that, I'm not qualified enough to see Krishna. And then he left for the pilgrimage. And then he said, okay, I will go to all the Tirthastalis, I go all the pilgrim places, I'll purify myself and then come back and then I will see Krishna. And by the time he was there, he came to know that, okay, Krishna has left the planet. Yadusar died, they all they killed themselves. And they said, oh, great. So even he couldn't see Krishna, he was Yamaraj himself. Right? So that other example comes to my mind, that there's an exception though, but yes, I saw that, Mataji. And thanks so much for beautifully enunciating the power of the holy name. Krishna is freely available. So yeah, thank you, Mataji, for the wonderful class.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Perfect examples. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Very wonderful explanation and very wonderful chanting about chanting. That point is very important for everybody, and that is true. That atmosphere is immediately will change when we will got the Krishna consciousness, Krishna name. That is happens in almost everybody's life. Again, very thanks to this class speech. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dāmodar Lilā Mataji. Thank you for speaking on such an elevated topic.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving the
In
opportunity.
the passage of the six personalities. I really like that verse you were quoting about the heart being steel framed. It comes in Canto 2, Chapter 3 about change in the heart, and how it links up to what Srila Prabhupada says here, like you said, at the such an advanced stage, which is bhava, is made accessible simply by hearing and contact with a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. That gives us hope that our process is genuine and it's pleasing to Lord Krishna. Yeah. I mean, one can always say, how much am I feeling like this? Maybe reading, speaking, hearing. But how genuinely am I experiencing that mood of connection to Krishna? Yeah, it's a deep topic. But in a way, feeling that I'm not connected, I find gives one motivation and strength. Also, that feeling of one's inability to reach to that connection with Krishna, I think, is a huge motivator for us too. even at our beginning stage or my beginning stage. So, and sometimes obstacles that occur in life can also help one feel like that. You know, that kind of helpless situation of a child for their mother. So, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I just remembered one more thing. But again, I was listening to lectures on this topic by other great devotees, and one question that was asked in that class, which was very nice, because I also had that question, that we are talking about, crying for Krishna, and those ladies, because they had so much affection for Krishna. So what should we do if, how can we cry for Krishna, because we don't even know him so well, um, and what should be the process by which we can access that relationship, and uh, for a neophyte devotee. And so the Prabhuji who was giving the class just said, read the books. And yeah, the question that was asked was that that Mataji was contrasting that I don't feel that much for Krishna, but I feel a lot for Srila Prabhupada, because he was right. We know all the struggles that he went through, and whenever I think about him, whenever I think on various things from his life, at that time I feel that tears are coming out of my eyes. And I also feel like that, especially on the Vyas Puja, on the appearance and disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada, when we are really concentrating, meditating on him a lot. And even in general, but while talking about Srila Prabhupada, I do feel that that emotions just rise in me, but not that much for Lord Krishna, unfortunately. And the Mataji in the other class was echoing the same. She was asking that question, that how can we get that kind of attraction for Krishna, that kind of emotion for Lord Krishna, which we do experience when we talk about Srila Prabhupada. And the answer again, there is not just one particular answer. It's about be in that process, read about Krishna. So read Srila Prabhupada's books, read books by pure devotees, written by pure devotees, and through that, and keep chanting. So these are the two processes basically, Shravanam and Kirtanam. Listen or read books and do kirtan, and you will get that. So just have the full faith that this is the process. The process works. You may not be able to perceive that your success or how much progress you have made in this particular lifetime, but just have full faith. And since you have that much emotion for Srila Prabhupada, have faith in his words when he's saying chant, when he's saying, read, do this Shravanam and Kirtanam, just do that process, and things will work out for you. So, and the more we read, the more we get attracted to Krishna. We may not, we cannot put a marker on that. Yesterday it was 1, and today it's 2% and 3%. But the process is working, whether you know it or not. Just like a medicine works, whether you know it or not. How the you are a doctor, Prabhuji, but yeah, when you prescribe a medicine to someone, even if the person is not from a medical field, the medicine will still work. So just like that, how Srila Prabhupada has given us this medicine, keep taking it and it'll work. So that was something from another class, which I thought I'll share here.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mataji.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Anybody else would like to reflect? Questions? Comments? Okay, Mataji. Thank you for being so timely as well. That's nice. That's a sign of a devotee that their respect of time is so great that every minute is valued. One time, a senior devotee was telling me that one of the signs of being Krishna conscious is feeling that there's not enough hours in the day to do service for Krishna. and relishing every minute that one can do that. So thank you for doing that. Okay, I guess we can end then. So Dāmodar Lilā Mataji ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, the boat that can carry us over this material existence.